I don't really even know how to start this video. So, hi, my name's Alana. I like making videos on YouTube. And I'm pregnant, which is just wild to me. So, yeah, anyways, I guess this is me announcing to the internet that my husband and I are expecting a baby in February. So today, at the day of filming, which is not the day I'm posting. Today at the day of filming, I'm at about 10.5 weeks. And I'm planning on posting this maybe around week 13, 14, something like that. So like in a couple of weeks. But I wanted to film this now to just like get this out, record it, keep it for myself. So in today's video, which by the way, I originally filmed this as a get ready with me, and I had such a hard time being like, this is the makeup I'm using. Oh, and by the way, this is how I told my husband. So I decided to scrap that video and I just filmed a get ready with me using the same products. So that's going to be a separate video that'll already be up. And if I remember in editing, I will link it down below. But it'll probably be called something like trying new makeup. And then I have hair in my lip gloss. And then I'm like, let's just film this as a separate video. So I'm going to tell you about when I found out and got to tell my husband. I'm going to tell you about our journey getting here. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit about kind of the content that we have planned kind of coming up. And I guess the last thing, I'm going to ask for your thoughts and advice. So yeah, I've obviously never filmed, well, I guess not obviously. You could be someone who's never seen my channel before watching this. I'm a first-time mom, so it's my first time being pregnant, so I've never filmed a video like this before. And I'm so excited. I'm excited that I get to share this journey with you guys. I'm excited about having a baby. Yeah, I'm just excited. Like this is a happy time. So, I guess we'll start with kind of our journey to getting here. So my husband and I got married in 2019, and this year we celebrated 10 years together. So 4 married, but 10 together in total. We started dating when I was 19. We started dating like when we were both in university, and that's, you know, we kind of met through like a club and not like a party club, like extracurricular activity. So we were at different universities, but we like met at kind of like a conference that we all went to. So I'd say that we've always very much been on the same page about things. So it was always in our plan that we would get married, do some travel, establish ourselves, buy a house, and just really make sure that we had everything that baby would need. So yeah, we got married in 2019. We had an incredible honeymoon to Bora Bora. We've traveled to so many places together. Last year we went to Italy and Greece, and in between those 2 trips, there was a global pandemic that really took away our ability to travel. So, you know, I think we both had wanted to travel more, but at the same time, we were like, why wait? Like, let's get started. And I should say before getting married, we traveled a lot together too. And actually, by the time you see this video, we are going to be in Scotland, England, and Ireland. So, you know, so yeah, on that side, I'll say, I don't view having a baby as a reason not to travel. I think it'll slow our travel plans for a season of our life, but ultimately, like, we want to bring the baby and explore the world together. So we bought our house about 2 years ago, and we bought a 4-bedroom home, always planning that particular room, which is currently a guest room, would be a nursery. And yeah, anyways, we bought an SUV like 3 or 4 months ago, kind of in anticipation of this time. So I had my IUD out in the middle of March, and my doctor basically told me, wait for 1 full cycle before you start trying. So we did that, and the 1 full cycle brought us kind of into April. And what we wanted to try in April, unfortunately my husband had very violent food poisoning. And we did not think that that would be a very fun activity to do with somebody who has violent food poisoning. So April, like, we just weren't really able to be together in the couple of days surrounding ovulation. Like, we were in the same room, but we just weren't able to like be together. So then in May, we were able to try, and it worked, which was wild because I think, look, I'm someone who consumes a lot of social media. I'm always on TikTok, I'm always on Reels, I'm watching YouTube, and social media likes to serve us content that is heart-wrenching, that's a tearjerker. And so I feel like the last couple of years, I've just been constantly served content of, you know, people who have struggled with infertility for years, people who have, you know, lost a baby and, you know, had their rainbow, people who, you know, battled cancer and then finally got to have their baby. And like, I mean, those stories are incredibly moving, but I feel like I'd watched so many of those videos that in my mind, I was just like, oh, well, I mean, we'll start trying in May, but like, this could take us 6 months, it could take us a year, like, we might need help. So I kind of like, almost like got my head wrapped up in that. And look, the reality is a lot of people need help. You know, a lot of people, you know, go through a tough time getting there. Like, one of my best friends just welcomed her baby like last week, and she went through infertility and loss and IVF and had a surrogacy journey. And, you know, but on the other hand, I have lots of friends who just got pregnant and had a baby and have a family. So anyways, in my mind, I think I just seen so much of that content that I just told myself like, that's going to be our, like, you know, that we're just going to have a journey. And when we didn't, I was just like, oh, okay, we're here. Okay. Then, like, obviously I was overjoyed, but it just took my mind a minute to be like, okay, like this just worked. And, you know, but again, I have a friend who the first one worked and they had secondary infertility. So yeah, I think because I'm just someone who's on social media a lot, like, I think in my mind, I was just always preparing for the worst case scenario. And when that didn't happen, I just couldn't believe it. And, you know, look, it's early on and, you know, there's still many like good things that can happen and challenging things that can happen. Like, it's a journey, but it definitely just shocked me a bit. I hope that makes sense. And I'd love to know if any of you guys can kind of relate to that, like the social media piece of it. Anyways, I was really debating including that in the video, but I just want to share just what's on my mind, like the whole process. So anyways, we were successful in May and my period was supposed to come on about May 26th or so, whatever the Friday around that was. And then it didn't. So on the Friday, we were out to dinner with my husband, his parents, and my brother-in-law. We were celebrating my husband's birthday a couple days early. So we're out to dinner, and I kind of just said to myself, you know what? Let's not have wine with dinner. I'm like, just like, what if it works, right? What if it works? Let's just not have wine. Like, there hasn't been a sign of my period yet. Like, let's just, you know, and I'm not the kind of person who needs wine to enjoy a meal. So I just ordered a Diet Coke, you know, had like some pasta, some pizza, whatever. We had a lovely dinner. It was Italian. Went to bed that night, like, and not really thinking like, oh, I might be pregnant. Like, it was, I might be pregnant, so let's not have alcohol, but it wasn't like, oh, I might be pregnant, like, oh, we're having a baby. I hope that like mindset makes sense. So the next morning, still didn't have my period. So that morning, the friend who just welcomed a baby in a surrogacy journey, baby's name is Scotty, by the way. It's my friend Baden. She's at Not My Tummy on Instagram. Anyways, so if you are someone who is going through infertility, like, she has amazing content. If you are somebody who is maybe considering being a surrogate or looking for a surrogate, like, she's your girl. So for me, she's my girl to talk about like celebrity gossip. So anyways, so I was at her baby shower, and in my mind, I was like, we're just not going to think about this. Like, we're not considering this. We're not thinking about it. We are here to celebrate Baden and the baby that she's expecting. We're just not getting into this. So, go to her shower, have a wonderful time, say hi to her mom. By the way, her mom has like this sixth sense on pregnancy and babies, which we'll get to. So, go to the shower, celebrate Baden, and I'm just like, you know what, we're just not going to think about this at all. So we have a wonderful time, drive home, like, still no period. And I'm like, you know, sometimes you can be like a day late, so let's just not tie ourselves up. So then it's Sunday, and on Sunday, me and our other friend took Baden out for like a mommy to be spa day the three of us, like whenever someone's expecting, we have a mommy to be day, which is just like an opportunity to like connect as girls and have a good time and celebrate mom to be before baby comes. Just like a day dedicated to mom before, you know, mom's time is all dedicated to baby. So we take her out to the spa, we go to afternoon tea, and still no period. But one of our friends was feeling kind of crampy and like a little bit nauseous. She's not pregnant, but one of us made a joke like, oh, like you could be pregnant. And so I really like chaos. So I kind of like edged that on. And I forget if it was me or Baden who brought it up, but they were like, oh, like, have you heard of pregnancy test roulette? Like, it's a thing on TikTok where, like, a group of friends all takes a pregnancy test, puts them in a bucket, and then just, like, sees if one's positive. And I'm like, yeah, like, we should do that. Like, I'm just, like, in my mind, I'm like, I think I'm pregnant. But also, we're not going to think about that. Obviously, we didn't do that, but I was just, like, egging it on, just, like, I like chaos. So, that night after dinner, we're in Collingwood, and we're at a Rocky Mountain chocolatier. So I purchased some candy for my husband because the next day was his birthday and I was going to take a test and I had this plan. So the next day, the next day is my husband's birthday. So now my period's like 3 days late and I'm getting a little suspicious. One of the number one things I kind of read is that people who want to get pregnant can like stress themselves out by like taking a test on the first possible day and then like you see a ton of negatives. And in my mind, I thought it would be less disappointing to get my period than it would be to see a negative test. So I was just kind of like, let's not stress about it. Like this could be a process. So Monday morning, I take a test at 8:30 in the morning and it was positive. So then I took another test, which was also positive. And I was like, oh, okay, well, my husband's at work. I have to go to the office today and just like sit with this like life-altering news in my mind. So at 9 o'clock, I called my doctor. The first thing my doctor told me when she took my ID out, she's like, you'll probably be pregnant within the next 6 months. I'm like, awesome. She's like, when you get a positive test, you call me. And I'm like, okay. So doctor's office open at 9. Called my doctor at 9. The first person I told was her receptionist, and we had a appointment scheduled for a couple days later. So then I'm like, okay, I guess I have to go to work. So I drove down and I was just listening to Taylor Swift, and Speak Now Taylor's version wasn't out, so I was listening to like the original. I was listening to like Never Grow Up and like The Best Day, and I was just like, oh, like, I don't know. I was just like really like, just enjoying that drive. So went to work, went about my day, literally didn't feel anything like physically different. Got home and my husband and I just had dinner at home because we'd already like celebrated a lot. So in a little gift bag, I put the candy I bought him the night before, and then I put a onesie at the bottom. A onesie sleeper. I need to learn all the baby words. It was a sleeper, like feet on it. So I purchased the sleeper like 6 weeks before, maybe like after my IUD was out, but before we started trying, I think. Anyways, I had saw it and it was like the most perfect sleeper in the world. I'll pop a picture of it up here. It was from Old Navy. And while I'm not obsessed with the yellow color, it has little macaroni and cheeses all over it and it says better together. And throughout my entire relationship with my husband, he has always made us mac and cheese. He makes the most amazing mac and cheese. It is like a form of art. It like the real cheeses, there's Worcestershire, there's like, it's a whole thing. I'm like craving it now that I talk about it. So anyways, I was like a macaroni and cheese sleeper. Like first of all, I want my baby sleeping. Second of all, like what better way to tell my husband? So I put that at the bottom and the pregnancy test at the very bottom, put it all together, and we had our dinner. And I was like, oh, like, you know, I just wanted you to have something to open on your birthday, like here. So he like looks at the candy, he's like, oh, thank you, honey. Like, it's really thoughtful. And then he gets to the bottom and he like pulls out the sleeper, and I should have thought this through because we were sitting across from each other. So the sleeper is between our faces. So I can't see his face. And he told me after that his first thought was that I just bought it because it was cute and it was for a future kid. But then when he moved the sleeper down, he saw that I was tearing up and then he knew. And we just, yeah, so he was over the moon. He said it was the best birthday gift he'd ever received. And I just felt so fortunate to be able to share that with him on his birthday. So we hugged for a long time, we just talked about it, and we just had a really beautiful night. So, knowing that I had a doctor's appointment coming up, I had to text one of my best friends who lives near me because she gave birth last year at the hospital that I'm planning on delivering at. And I'm like, let's say I needed an OBGYN with the pregnant emoji. And so she was obviously super happy for me and gave me like a recommendation. And then I told my friends Alex and Baden. Baden because well, she loves all things babies. Sorry, but also our other friend because she's had 2 kids now. She's like a pregnancy expert. And I knew that if anyone could tell me like what foods, because I knew that I'd eventually have food aversions, which I do. And I'm like, okay, no one's gonna have better advice than her. And that was kind of it for people who knew. Again, mostly focused on practical advice. So like 2 days later, Baden's with her mom, and her mom is like, your friend Alana from the shower. And Baden's like, yeah. She's like, is she pregnant? And I'm like, I didn't even know I was pregnant at the shower. I told you, this woman has a 6th sense. So my friend's like, yeah, yes, she is. And then her mom said, oh, she's having a blank. And she shared the gender. And I can tell you that she's correct. Like, I didn't even know I was pregnant, and her mom's like, is she pregnant? And here's what she's having. And she was right. So we have a joke in our friend group, which is you never bet against Frances. That's my friend's mom's name. You never bet against Frances when it comes to baby genders. So, topic for another video. So, yeah, and that was basically it for people who knew. Up until the next week when I'm at my other friend's house, so the same one who has the great advice, who, by the way, she told me that apple juice was the drink to go, and like, she's 1000% right. I've never had so much apple juice. Well, I have when I was like 6, but like not as an adult. So I'm at her house, we're getting ready for the party. Her mom's for this big party we're going to. Her mom is there to watch her daughter, and my OBGYN calls, and her office like, how many weeks are you? And I'm like, 5 weeks and 4 days. And I'm just like, yep, her mom knows, because there's no other reason. And so I'm like, there's no like walking that back or being like, oh, that was nothing. So afterwards I was like, surprise. And so she was really happy for me. So yeah, one thing I was not anticipating is that sometimes like people just find out, but we've done a really good job at keeping it a secret from our families. And I should say it's not that like we want to keep it a secret from our families, but this will be the first grandchild on both sides of our family. For 2 out of 4 sides, this will be the first great grandchild. And quite frankly, it's for almost all sides, the first great grandchild who like, you know, lives in our area. So it's very anticipated, a very wanted baby. And you know, my family and my husband's family have both had really tough medical years over the last 2 years, last 2-3 years, last while. We've each had somebody very close to us who's been really struggling with their health. And the last thing we wanted to do was share good news with them that had to be taken away, like if things didn't work out. So we very consciously decided not to tell our families until 12 weeks. So actually, at the time of filming right now, our families don't know, which is such a hard secret to keep. By the time this video is up, they will know. So we have a beautiful plan on how we're going to tell our families, and I will tell you guys all about that once we do that next weekend. So we are so close. It is such a hard secret to keep. You know, I'll be talking to my mom on the phone, and she'll be like, oh, what's new? I'm like, oh, nothing. Nothing. There's nothing going on. I'm not making a human. So yeah, that's been really hard to like not share, but we just wanted to like get through the kind of the rockiest part before. So we're almost there. We're just a week away. So I'm so excited. And obviously if you're seeing this video, then they know, and that's going to be great. Yeah. So anyways, what else can I tell you? Okay. In terms of, so I was kind of telling my husband, again, it was just so special to be able to tell him on his birthday. So we do know the gender. I did the sneak peek blood test on, you can actually order it on Amazon. So I did that. I'm gonna have like a TikTok and a reel, and I guess I'll post it as a YouTube short, like the actual process of doing it. So I will share the gender in a later video. I haven't decided how I'm gonna like do that, but I will. We're gonna do that in a later video. But we know, and we're, I mean, like you get what you get, but we're very happy. So we know, we're excited to share that. When we tell our families next weekend, we're doing like surprise, we're having a baby, surprise gender reveal. So we've ordered cakes that'll have bright, I'm gonna pretend green. We're gonna say green, not green. Icing on the inside that will clearly identify what we're having. So I don't love the idea of like a big dramatic gender reveal, but I do think it's something that's fun, and like I like to celebrate things and I like cake, so like I feel like we'd have cake anyways, so like let's make it a moment. One video I've been dreaming of doing like since I started on YouTube was baby names I love but won't be using. I've just dreamed for the longest time of doing that video. Like I've actually like had a note in my phone of like names I love but won't be using and why. So, which by the way, we're like pretty close to a name. Yeah, so I guess from you guys, first of all, what tips do you have to share with me and to share with, you know, anyone who may be reading the comments about pregnancy? Next weekend, I will be done the first trimester, which like, it has just flown by. And I will say like, while I've had a lot of tiredness and fatigue, I really think I've had the best first trimester ever. Like I have felt really comfortable, like overall, really nothing to complain about. But next week we're going to focus more on like my symptoms and what foods have been working for me and things like that. So next week will be more like a practical like first trimester update. This is more like the emotional, like sharing it with you guys and how I told my husband. What else? Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what kind of content you guys would like to see. I'm so excited to like work on the nursery and share that with you guys, and yeah, just let me know what kind of content you'd like to see and what kind of advice that you have. I am just so excited for this journey, and I feel so blessed that we were able to get here easily. It was something I've like stressed a lot about over the last years. We've been like building towards this, and I feel so fortunate. Yeah, I'm super happy. So this is something we've been looking forward to and kind of planning about for a long time. So I feel like we've waited a long time for this, even though we didn't like have to wait a long time to get a positive test. I hope that kind of makes sense. Yeah, I'm just so excited. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video and for indulging me. Once again, any advice, please share it down below. Help me, help our community. Videos you want to see, let me know. If you guys have questions, like I'm open to doing like an ask me anything, like Q&A kind of video. I really feel like I'm an open book, and right now I'm a very happy open book. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so excited to share this journey with you guys. I'm just excited. I like can't wait for mat leave, friends who are expecting, like it's gonna be so fun. I'm gonna go to the zoo so much. So thank you for the 1000th time for watching, and I'm just over the moon to be sharing this video with you guys. So talk to you guys soon. Bye. Mwah.